You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls, Season 3, Episode 1, Old Friends. Original air date, September 19th, 1987. In this episode, the girls are going through their stuff to donate items to the rummage sale. Dorothy decides to get rid of an outfit. Blanche tells her it's the nicest outfit she has, but that she looks horrible in it. A sunshine cadet named Daisy is helping them. Sophia heads out to the boardwalk. Daisy comes out of Rose's room with her donations. There's a teddy bear sitting on top. She makes over it, and Blanche gives it to Daisy. Rose comes in holding a box, so she doesn't see Daisy leave with her teddy bear. Blanche comments about the community service that the girls do. Rose rushes out into the living room looking for her teddy bear, Fernando. It's the teddy bear that Blanche just gave to Daisy. Blanche leaves, looking guilty, to try and get it back. Sophia arrives at the pier. She asks the gentleman if she can sit on the bench with him. They have a little fight. They then discuss their eye surgeries. They exchange names. They have another little fight over his job. Then she offers him some of her lunch. The next morning, Dorothy finds Rose in the kitchen. She never went to bed. Dorothy tries to snap her out of her depression about the lost teddy bear, but it doesn't work. Sophia joins them in the kitchen and informs them that Alvin is buying her breakfast today. Blanche comes in, proclaiming she's found Fernando the teddy bear. But Rose informs her it's not Fernando. She thanks her for trying and exits the kitchen. And then Blanche confesses to Dorothy that she accidentally gave Fernando to Daisy. Dorothy tells her to call Daisy. She's shocked when Blanche informs her that Daisy is holding Fernando for ransom. Dorothy isn't buying it, so Blanche shows her the ear Daisy sent her. Now she's horrified. Back at the beach, Alvin and Sophia are watching for men peeing in the ocean. They've counted 3 or 4 now. She tells Alvin a story about how she loves the beach, but Sal didn't. He said too many people peed in the ocean. Sophia asks him about his wife, and he draws a blank. No matter how pushy she gets, he starts crying, and she tries to comfort him. Back at the house, Blanche and Dorothy try to double-team Daisy for the teddy bear. They try to explain that it was a mistake. She informs them their mistake will cost them a 10-speed win. The girls are horrified. Dorothy plays hardball and threatens to call her parents and have her sent to a school for bad girls. Daisy then threatens to destroy Fernando with a water pistol filled with red ink. Rose arrives, and Blanche tries to alert her to what's going on. She realizes that Rose didn't know. Now she's going to increase the ransom. Blanche takes this time to confess. Rose gets angry and tells Blanche to cut the crap and get the bear back. Back at the boardwalk, Alvin comes late and is not acting like himself. Sophia is confused by his behavior. He storms off. The next morning, Rose finds Sophia crocheting at the kitchen table. Sophia is making a scarf for Alvin, and Rose made a set of clothes for her teddy bear. She refers to him as Fernando, though, and Sophia thinks she slept with Fernando. The doorbell rings, and it's Daisy. Now she wants cash instead of gifts. Rose makes a speech about life and parting ways with Fernando. She walks Daisy to the door. Then she grabs the bear and shoves Daisy out as she slams the door behind her. Blanche and Dorothy are excited. The next day, Sophia meets Alvin at the boardwalk. Today, he's normal again and himself. He brought her something to drink. Dorothy is there watching. A woman walks up to her. She immediately realizes Dorothy is Sophia's daughter. Sophia references the previous fight. Both forget about it. Alvin's daughter explains to Dorothy that he has Alzheimer's. In the kitchen, Blanche is telling a story about a guy that hit on her in a dress store. Dorothy goes to speak to Sophia in her room. She tells her about Alvin's illness. Dorothy tells her that she followed her to the boardwalk after the fight. Sophia admits she knew something was wrong with him. Dorothy then tells her about Alvin's daughter. He will be going to New York for special care in the next few months. Next, we see Sophia sitting on the bench on the boardwalk by herself. A couple of months have passed. Dorothy walks down to her. Sophia has the finished scarf with her. She will mail the scarf to Alvin. The two leave. Another old man sits on the bench, and Sophia yells at him. Dorothy and Sophia leave the boardwalk. Favorite quotes. Blanche. That particular design does tend to accentuate your behind while simultaneously diminishing your cleavage. Dorothy. I'm off to the rummage sale. Would you like a ride? Sophia. No, I want to do cartwheels for 6 miles. Get your keys. Let's roll. Sophia. Someone sitting here? Alvin. Cataracts or glaucoma? Sophia. Well, you're doing a great job, Alvin Newcastle. Nobody's stolen the boardwalk since you've been sitting here. Dorothy. Rose, this has got to stop. Now, you have been carrying on for a week. It was only a toy animal. Rose. I'm sorry. I know I'm behaving like a fool, but I got a right to sing the blues. Rose. Alvin from the boardwalk? Sophia. No, Alvin from the Chipmunks. Rose. Thanks for trying, Blanche. It's nice to have a friend like you. Who cares? Blanche. She's not a sweet kid anymore. She's holding Fernando for ransom. Dorothy. Come on. Blanche. She sent me one of his ears. Blanche. That's all it was, just a silly mistake. Daisy. In Sunshine Cadets, we learn you have to pay for your mistakes. This one is going to cost you a 10-speed Schwinn. Blanche. Rose, don't move, honey. She's got the teddy bear and a water pistol. Blanche. Fernando doesn't belong to you anymore. I kind of gave him to Daisy by mistake. Rose. Get him back. I want my teddy. Rose. If after all the years of love and companionship, Fernando and I are meant to part company, time to time, life deals you an unfriendly hand. But there is a lesson to be learned here. Sometimes life just isn't fair, kiddo. Sophia. Oh, Dorothy, I'm glad you're home. You got a minute? Crochet me a scarf. Sophia. A few months, huh? That should give me enough time to finish the scarf. The main storyline in this episode is Sophia and Alvin at the boardwalk. And this is one of those big topics, Alzheimer's. It's one of the 5 forms of dementia. It's the most common because it's more of a non-specific, but at the same time, one of the other types is called body Lewy dementia or Lewy body dementia. I always get it confused. Estelle Getty passed away from it, and Robin Williams also had it, and he committed suicide. Dementia is a very, very scary thing. Everyone just tends to lump it into Alzheimer's, but it's not just Alzheimer's, because it affects either all of your brain or part of your brain. It can also affect, your neurological aspects so that you have trouble walking. Essentially, you die a slow death as your brain dies. Sometimes it's your entire brain that's dying, and sometimes it's just certain parts of your brain that's dying, depending on which type of Alzheimer's, which type of dementia you have. With Alzheimer's, that affects your whole brain. And I've seen that one personally because one of my friend's moms, she passed away from Alzheimer's. Well, she had it, but I don't know if it was her ultimate final cause of death or it was just one of the many contributing factors. But it's very strange when your friend's mom can remember your name, but not the name of her kids. And in her case, it was caused because she'd had multiple strokes, both majors and minors, and they did enough damage to the brain to trigger the condition. That's what her doctor said, at least. And it's just, it's kind of horrible. It's beyond horrible. To me, any kind of dementia is up there with like losing a body part. Once you have some kind of condition that affects your ability to be a functional human being, that just becomes just beyond horrific. That's something that I hope that I never ever get in my life because I don't think I could cope with it. It's weird to forget how to do the things that you've always done because your body and your brain just can't anymore. It's like things like cancer eat away at you or even take over your body, but ultimately you're still you and you're aware of what's going on. But with forms of dementia, you're not. Your self-awareness, your awareness of others, even your personality, your vision, your ability to read, to write, to walk, those things are all compromised. And as it progresses, they're not just compromised, they're things you lose completely. It's like reading is one of my favorite things to do. If I suddenly lost the ability to read, I don't think I could cope with that. Although maybe with dementia, you forget that you even knew how to read, so it's not as upsetting. I really don't know. But I do know the effect that it has on the person and that it has on the family and the friends, and how devastating that it can be, how impactful it is overall, not just to the person who has it, but to the mental and emotional health of all those that are touched by it as well. Yeah, because you get to a stage in dementia where you can't live by yourself anymore, and you need specialized care. And because your brain is slowly dying, once you're in one of these care facilities, you don't remember anymore. And you wake up every day and you go, oh my God, where am I? What's going on? And you start your day afraid every day. I can't think of anything more horrible to have happened to a person. And I truly wish that scientists could figure out how to cure it, every type of thing that causes it, so that they can prevent it. Because it's just horrific. And Sophia clearly in this episode, she realizes something's not right with Alvin, and she admits that to Dorothy. But she just tries to pretend that he's normal because out of if anything else, it makes him feel better. If you understand there's something going on, you pick up on it. If you can still give that person a little bit of normalcy, you're giving them a wonderful, beautiful gift. But yeah, it's definitely hard. And I think the second storyline in this about Daisy and Fernando the teddy bear is really just to kind of lighten the heaviness of this episode, because it is one of the more heavy episodes of the series. Because dementia does take an emotional toll. But Daisy is not a very nice little sunshine cadet. I mean, first she holds him for ransom and she chops off Fernando's ear. I mean, that's a lot of violence for what, 8 or 10-year-old? I'm not really sure how old Daisy is, but wow, that's pretty insane. I was not thinking at that age that, oh, let's go take people's toys and ransom them back to them. Whew. Not sure where she got the ideas, but yikes, she's a criminal mastermind there. And Blanche finally admits to Rose at one point that she accidentally gave Rose the teddy bear. She probably just didn't realize that the teddy bear wasn't a donation, because Daisy made it like, oh, it was on top of the donation pile. And it was probably not, and Daisy probably was just like, oh, I want that teddy bear, so let me just make it like it's a donation so I can get my hands on it. Because clearly, Daisy's quite selfish and narcissistic and evil. Oof. And then I love how Rose takes the control back at the end, because everybody's always putting Rose down because she's basically a simpleton. She's not mentally retarded or anything, she's just simple. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's still a human being. And in this instance, she decides to take matters into her own hands, which I guess she's probably done in other situations as well. But in this case, she just grabs that teddy bear out of that nasty little brat's hands, shoves her out the door, and locks the door behind her, slams it and locks it. And I really like that, because normally Rose is too nice to do something like that. That's how the character appears anyway. And it's just like, it's really nice to see that Rose does have a limit to what she'll take and what she'll put up with, where she will finally stand up for herself. Because it's not nice when the girls bully Rose or put her down or make fun of her. And it's definitely not nice the way Daisy was acting against everyone in general. And oh, Daisy is just a horrible little thing. And I think she pops up in one other episode, Letter to Gorbachev. But yeah. And I think the Sunshine Cadets are really only in this episode mentioned in any capacity, in this episode and in the Letter to Gorbachev episode. But as always, the continuation of like resolving this, we never find out, any more on Alvin or his daughter. We just are left to assume that he went to New York and when they mailed him the scarf, he got it, and we never really get any confirmation. It would have been nice to tie it up, but in so many episodes, there's always like open-ended stuff, and we're left to draw our own conclusions by the time the episode ends. But it is still the Golden Girls, and this is one of those episodes where they do take on a very heavy subject matter. And what makes the show so progressive is that they were always willing to do that. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This TV Show podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.